So Rainbow Six Siege Operation Demon Veil is now in its test server phase, and one of the interesting changes that they made is that the iron sights now actually reduce time to aim down sights. You see that up there? I'm trying to use my mouse and it doesn't work, but it says it up there. I'll zoom in on the screen. So now the $1,000,000 question is it viable to use iron sights, and on which weapons should you even use iron sights? Now, yeah, words are hard. That's it. So let's try out every single weapon and try out the iron sights, and I'll give my opinion on them as we go, because I don't even remember the iron sights for some of these weapons. So right here is the L85. Overall, the iron sights are not terrible. I have a decent sight picture. I can see a decent percentage of the screen. Here, let's back the enemy up. Yeah, I can see a decent percentage of the enemy. It's not god-awful by any means. And I feel like if I really wanted to, I could get used to them. They're not terrible. They're usable. I'd give this maybe... I was going to rate them like in a tier list, but I don't remember what all the other iron sights are, so we'll kind of have to wait, and I'll look around and see what other ones are around, and we'll see if it makes sense. But I'm thinking that's like a 5 out of 10. These iron sights right here, not that great. Not particularly amazing. The bottom portion of your view is significantly covered. It's a lot harder to see around it. The view above is decently clear, but the view below where your target aim is, like if I aim at the head, a lot of the body is covered. You know what I mean? I can barely see that body at all. So I think this is probably like a 3 out of 10. Next up, we have the G36C. I actually do remember these because I just recorded them. These iron sights aren't awful. They're not awful. They're not amazing, but they're not awful. You do get a bit more of a sight picture below where your target is, just a bit. It's not particularly amazing though, and it's a little bit harder to actually see your target. But for close quarters, like particularly close quarters, it's definitely usable. I'll give this a solid maybe 4 out of 10. Next up, we have the R4C iron sights. These are pretty bad. These are pretty bad. It's really hard to see anything. You can't really see your target very well, and you can't see below your target very well. These are really bad iron sights. These are probably the lowest so far. I'm gonna give this like a 2 out of 10. It's really hard to see where your target is. Again, like most of the body is covered if I aim at the head. I'm trying to be at least somewhat consistent about where I am, but yeah, this is pretty bad. Oops. I should also do shotguns. Realistically, though, the shotgun iron sights are like, are you really going to be aiming in? Yeah, whatever. Maybe I'll show shotguns. These are not terrible. These are not terrible. They're not amazing, but they're not terrible. I can actually decently see, you know, on target. I can kind of see on target, you know what I mean? The line that's covering the target's head isn't bad, and I can see a decent percentage of the person's head, of the person's upper torso. These aren't bad. They're not bad. I'll go back and show the shotgun, just in case. You guys actually might even use shotguns with iron sights already anyways. So here we have it. Oh yeah, these are pretty good. These are pretty good. Again, you're not really aiming into the shotguns anyways, and if you are, you generally know your quick scope, you already know where the enemy is. So it's not as important. But yeah, these shotguns are pretty, these iron sights are not terrible. It does cover a decent percentage of the person if you're like far away. Like if I'm all the way back here, then yeah. But why the hell would you be using a shotgun at that range? So like, for most purposes, it's not bad. Oops, I have a reflex sight on it. Hold on. There we go. M1014 iron sights are pretty bad, honestly. Actually, these are pretty bad. It's pretty hard to see your target. It's very easy to lose sight of your target when shooting, especially because it has a high rate of fire. I actually probably would not recommend the iron sights for this weapon. Again, because hip firing is already probably your best bet, but especially because this is particularly obscuring. I actually probably would not use the iron sights on that weapon. Twitch F2. I remember these iron sights. So here we have these iron sights. They're not terrible. They're not like atrociously horrible. I can't really see a lot of the person's upper torso, but I can see a little bit. And the area around the body is getting obscured a little bit more, but like it's not terrible. Probably like a 5 out of 10. These iron sights are not great. I wouldn't recommend iron sights on a DMR ever, but you know, we're gonna go over every weapon, right? These iron sights are not great. Are they worse or better? I don't know. I feel like more of the outside area is being obscured. But the body itself, whether or not it's obscured, it's obscured a little bit. But like, I mean, obviously it's obscured, the entire bottom portion of the body is obscured. But like, up to what we can see, it's obscured a little bit by the little things on the side. It's not like god-awful, but it's definitely worse than the F2, I think. It's hard to judge. I'll give it the same rating, 5 out of 10. These shotgun iron sights are pretty good. They're quite good. You can very easily see your target. Of course, you are being obscured a little bit on the left and right, but honestly, it's not even that big of a deal. I actually would probably recommend the iron sights on this one. They're actually pretty good. These iron sights are not half bad. They're not half bad. Especially if you're at a distance where you can see more of the body behind the little post. They're honestly not half bad. But of course, this is just half the story. We have to use the scope to get the other half. And yeah, they're honestly really not that bad. They're more obstructive than the other ones, obviously, duh. But they're honestly really not that bad. I can easily recommend them. They're only slightly more obstructive. Though if you're at like particularly long ranges, it might be a little bit harder to distinguish targets. But I doubt that your target would be completely obscured behind the little post in the middle. So honestly, I might start using this. These iron sights are really not that good. They're really not that good. Now, granted, above the target isn't obscured much, but like I can barely see below where I'm aiming. Yeah, it's really hard to see below where I'm aiming. But this weapon is pretty decently accurate. But I have to be honest, the iron sights are not amazing. I can see a little bit to the left and to the right, so it's not like completely obscured. So 3 out of 10. 3 out of 10. I'm gonna have to go back and like re-equip all of my scopes and stuff. This iron sight is marginally better. I can see a bit better below my target. It's still quite a bit obscured. It's especially more obscured on the left and right, but I can see a bit more above my target. But it's not much better. And plus with LMGs, you probably want to keep your range anyways. The ADS time with LMG is like negligible because like generally speaking, you're gonna want to like aim and be prepared with your aim anyways, so like I wouldn't recommend it. But in terms of the actual iron sights themselves, they're probably about as good, slightly better I guess, but like 3.5 out of 10. I can't give it a whole 4/10. Well, I can give it a 3.5 out of 10. Ooh, I can try the shield. I haven't used the shield rework on this weapon yet. Huh, interesting. Anyways, IQ. These iron sights are pretty decently bad, but I can see at least a bit more of the target. A lot of the target's head is obscured, though. Like, a lot of the target's head is obscured. But I can see a little bit of the upper torso. But overall, these iron sights are pretty bad. I'm going to give this a solid 3 out of 10. I mean, are they better than the F2s? They're probably about as good. I can see more of the upper torso, but I see way less of the head. So, like, 3 out of 10. This is probably about the same. I could see a bit more of... It's probably worse, right? It is probably worse. It doesn't feel worse, but it is probably worse. I see less of the head. I know, I see more of the head, but I see less of the upper torso. This is probably worse. This is like a 2.5 out of 10. These are some really low ratings. To be fair, I think I know what I'm going to rate a 10 out of 10. And in comparison, these are way worse than the other one. Than the one I'm thinking that is a 10 out of 10. Oh, this iron sight's actually decently good. Yeah, this is probably the best one. This might be the best one so far, honestly. This is like a solid... Like, I can see a decent percentage of the upper torso, and I can see quite a lot of the head. These iron sights are genuinely pretty good. Like, I might use this. This is probably like a 7 or 8 out of 10, honestly. 7.5 out of 10. Like, I can actually see a lot of the target's body. I actually might use this, unironically. Buck. I actually remember these. That's this iron sight preview picture is the C8's iron sights, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, these are pretty bad. These are pretty bad. I can't see a lot of the target's body at all. I really can't see much of the target's body at all. I can see a little bit on the left and right, but this is a solid, like, 2 out of 10. It obscures a lot. Granted, it's not as obscuring as much on the left and the right, but... So, like, target acquisition might be a little bit easier than some of the other iron sights, but it's still pretty bad. Oops.
Mission details are
Did I give a rating for the C8?
Only discuss them
3 out of 10.
authorized parties.
These aren't that bad. I feel like I should hate them, but I don't. The problem is, it's obscuring a lot on the left and right, so it's really easy to miss your target. But you can see a bit more of... You can see a decent percentage of the body. Like, if I aim right here, I can see, like, almost all of the upper torso, except for the parts that are obscured by the post there. But, like, I can see a lot of the upper torso. And I feel like it's not that hard to track. No, it's really not. The visual recoil isn't that bad either. So, honestly, these are decent. I think this is like a 6 out of 10. Because these are pretty good. These iron sights aren't half bad either, honestly. Yeah, I can see a decent portion of the upper torso. I can see most of the head. The line that's obscuring the head isn't, like, that crazy. I can relatively easily keep track of the target while I'm shooting. Yeah, these aren't bad. This might be better, actually. This might be a 6.5 out of 10. I actually like these. I can see a decent bit of the target. I probably wouldn't use the iron sights on this weapon, but if I were to use a one-time scope, and I was really debating on using the iron sights, they're not awful. They're not awful. They're really not that bad. Oh god, it's these iron sights again. Sorry. The diamond-shaped iron sights. Same with the R4C. I can see a bit more of the target below, but, like, these are bad. It's also particularly difficult to keep track of the target. Although, it's not crazy difficult, but... Yeah, I don't know. I don't really like this sight. It obscures a decent amount. I'm probably going to give this a 3 out of 10. I don't know what I gave the R4C, but this is like a 3 out of 10 in my opinion. The Parafoul. I remember these being decent. Oh, no, they're not. They're awful. They're god-awful. I can see nothing below the body. That being said, the targets above the head isn't that bad, but nothing below the target. Like, it is really hard to see below the target. But I can see a lot above the target, so, like, should I take that into consideration? Like, these aren't terrible to use. It's just really hard to get, like, you're on target. I can see nothing above the target. But is it, like, 1 out of 10 territory? I don't think so. I remember some of the other scopes. This isn't 1 out of 10. There's 2 scopes in particular that I know are 1 out of 10, and this is not 1 out of 10. But it's bad. This is, like, maybe 1.5 out of 10. But I can see a bit more above the target's head, and it doesn't obscure that much on the left and right, so... Oops, wrong.
Mirrors needed in the workshop for equipment evaluation.
These iron sights are pretty bad, but they're not, like, terrible. I can see a decent portion of the upper torso, but not all of it. It's decently obscured, and the sight post around it makes it quite a bit harder to keep on target. But overall, honestly, it's probably not the worst. I might give this like a 2.5 out of 10. They're pretty bad, but I can see a lot of the upper torso, so it's not as bad as it could be. But they're not great. These iron sights are not terrible, actually. I can see a decent portion above the body. I can't see that much below the body. But they're not terrible. Target acquisition isn't, like, amazingly stupidly difficult. Yeah, they're not terrible. 3 out of 10. Oh, shotgun, sorry. Supernova shotgun. Iron sights. It's gonna take so long to undo all this. Ooh, if I didn't have the suppressor... Actually, it's interesting, because the suppressor actually makes a change. So, we'll try both, we'll compare both with and without the suppressor. With the suppressor, yikes. I really can't see a whole lot of the target at all. These iron sights are pretty rough. I can only see the head. But, it's not awful. But, yeah, it's a bit yikes. Wouldn't recommend it if you're using suppressor. Ooh, without the suppressor, it's so much better. Wow, that's quite a difference. I can see a lot more of the target. Yeah, without the suppressor, this jumps a lot. Like, this is probably like a 5.5 out of 10. I can see quite a bit of the target. It's obscured a little bit, but, like, I can see what I need to see, and it's honestly not that bad. This is like a 5.5 out of 10. I didn't expect the suppressor to be such a massive... determiner in that. Is that the first machine pistol? Double checking. Oh, I missed the bearing 9 back here. Oops. Well, that's fine. We'll use it. We'll do it now. I forgot that glass at the bearing 9. Yikes. This is pretty bad. This is pretty damn bad. Oh my god. I can barely see anything. Yeah. Oh my goodness. If you ever wanted to give somebody the bearing 9 without it being overpowered, make it so that they can only use iron sights. Because, my god, are these iron sights bad. Yeah, this is like a 1 point... This might be a 1 out of 10, honestly. This might be a 1 out of 10. I can, like, barely see anything. These might be the most obstructive sights in the entirety of Siege. This is really bad. I can barely see anything. Ooh, hold on, I want to do the full animation. Yeah. The animation is different depending on whether or not you have a sight or not, fun fact. You know what, I'll just show you, just because we're already here. Yeah, you see how it's slightly different? The angle that I come to push the charging handle is different. I'm pretty sure this is like the R4C style sight. And I'm correct. Is it terrible? Yeah, it's pretty bad. I can't really see a lot of the target. I can barely see the target. If I back up, I can see nothing, but I can barely see the target. Is it awful, awful? It's not awful, awful, but it's like maybe a 1.5 out of 10. These are pretty bad. I can barely see the target. These might be the same iron sights, actually. They might be, like, literally the same. Oh, no, these are the C8 iron sights. Yeah, these are pretty good. This is pretty... I can see a lot of the target, actually. It's not that hard to keep track of the target, honestly. It's actually decently easy. Yeah, this is actually decent. 6 out of 10? It's honestly not that bad. I can see a decent bit of the target, and it's not obscuring so much to the point where it feels overbearing. Yeah, 6 out of 10. I don't know if I would, like, unironically use it, but it's actually not bad. I think these are the same iron sights, actually. Yeah, these iron sights are actually pretty good. They obscure a lot to the left and right, though. It's kind of hard to justify using them just because of how much they obscure on the left and right. Like, yeah, I can't see myself actually using this. They obscure a lot to the left and right. Like, in terms of actually seeing my target, it's decent. I can see a decent bit of the target. Like, if it was just looking at the target, it would probably be like a 7 out of 10. But because of how much it obscures on the left and right and how easy it is to miss your target if you're not looking directly at it, I gotta take points off for that. So it's probably like it evens out to like a 4 out of 10. I don't really recommend using it, but if you're like the kind of person who likes to quick scope, then yeah, it's not terrible. Like if you're looking at like, oh, boom. If you know where your target is, then that's not as much of an issue, you know what I mean? I don't know why I'm reloading. I'm not keeping this. This feels better. Is it not better? I don't know if that's better or if it's just my mind, but it feels better. I don't know. Maybe it's not that much better. But these iron sights aren't terrible. I can see myself using them just because, why not? I'm not going to be really using this for combat anyways. So, yeah, I might give this like a 5 out of 10. Because it's not as bad, I don't think. Even if it is, like, really similar, just the nature of it being a small shotgun, I feel like, but I can't do that, right? I have to judge it fairly, in which case I'll give it a 4 out of 10, because it's, like, damn near the same. I remember these being pretty bad. Oh, no, I was thinking of the T5 SMG. Yeah, these are pretty good. The C8 iron sights, just as we've seen before, and they're just as good. 7 out of 10, honestly. I might theoretically see myself using them, honestly, because they're not terrible. I can see a decent bit of the target. The left and right doesn't obscure that much. There's, like, obviously some angles where I can completely be obscured, but, like, it's not terrible. Like, I can actually see myself using them. These are pretty good. I don't think the 612 and the 612 SD have different. So this is like the, oh yeah, this is the M870. Oh yeah, I forgot to show the M870. Oh, M870 isn't on attack, that's why. Duh. So this is the 612 sights. Actually not bad. I can see myself using them. The left and right doesn't obscure that much, and down the middle, it's not obscured that much. Yeah, honestly, not half bad. Actually, especially considering it's a shotgun, I definitely could see myself using that one. Because, like, if you aim at the lower body, which is where you're normally going to aim with a shotgun, it's really not that bad at all. I might actually use this. I give this a solid 7.5 out of 10. Like, this is not bad. I can see most of the upper torso, most of my target. This is not bad. LMGE. I think these are like AR style sights, right? Yeah. These are... Ugh, yikes. Yikes. One out of 10? I can barely see the target whatsoever. No, it's not 1 out of 10. It's like 1.5 out of 10. I can see, looking left and right, I can see the target more easily than some of the other sites. So it's not 1 out of 10, but like, ugh. Actually, like, keeping on track with your target is quite a lot more difficult. Especially considering how inaccurate this gun is. Yeah, no, you need the sight. Especially considering it's an LMG. No, I don't recommend it. I remember these not being awful. Oof. A lot of the target... Wow. I will say, a lot of the target is obscured, as you can tell. I can see, like, none of the target. The left and the right, though, is pretty clear. But do I see myself using it? No. It's really hard to actually hit your target. Yeah, no, this is way harder to hit your target. Obviously, you could, like, practice and be, like, not terrible with it, but it's so much harder. This might be 1 out of 10. No, it's not 1 out of 10. It's 1.5 out of 10. But it's pretty bad. It's really hard to see your target. Alright, this might be the first, like, proper, like, this might be a 0.5 out of 10. These are really bad. Yeah, oh my goodness, dude. You really don't realize how bad it is until you use it. Holy mother of Grail. Look at this. Look at these iron sights. My god. I can see nothing. 0.0 out of 10? This might be a 0 out of 10. I can see, like, nothing. Oh my god. 0.5 out of 10. Because I can at least see a little bit to the left and right. But, my god. They're really bad. They are so atrociously bad, those iron sights. Oh, these might be really good iron sights, the boss key. Oh, these are really good iron sights right here. Yeah, these are not bad at all, honestly. It's just a sight post. Probably like a 6 out of 10. 6.5 out of 10. These are pretty good. I could absolutely use these. It's just literally just the point. Yeah, no, these are good. I like them. SMG-12. It's a bit clunky. It's hard to see on the left and right, but actually seeing my target isn't that bad. Most of my target's upper torso is unobscured. So, I mean, obviously it's a little bit harder to keep track on if you're doing left and right movement, because it obscures a lot, but like...
Thunderbird are requested in hangar B.
The recoil's still not great, but, you know. I don't know. I think I might potentially see myself using it. I don't know. It's not that hard to keep track of your target. I guess 5 out of 10. It's really easy to see your target, but it's also easy to lose track of your target. But it's not that bad. Maybe higher. Maybe 7 out of 10. 6 out of 10? 6 out of 10. How about that? Also, the gun's just really inaccurate. I do not remember these iron sights at all. They might be the C8 style. I don't remember them. Oh, they're the R4C style. They're R4C style, and they're probably just as bad. I can see to the left and right of my target a lot more. It's a lot harder to obscure it behind, but like these iron sights are bad for a reason. But the gun's a lot more accurate, which makes it not as big of a deal. But I still can't really rate these iron sights. They're pretty bad. This is like a 3 out of 10. I can't see myself actually using them. Honestly, with certain iron sights, with how bad they are, the ADS bonus should be even bigger. Like, depending on the weapon, the ADS bonus should be larger, or bigger, or smaller. Because some of these iron sights are really bad. Like, a 10% bonus is not going to help. These are the C8 style iron sights. Just like in the preview. And they're just as good as I remember. Yeah, these are pretty good. It obscures a decent amount to the left and right, but honestly, these are pretty decent. I might actually see myself using them. Yeah, this is actually really good. I could see, for Thunderbird, I might actually use this. Because these are actually not bad. Yeah, this is like a 7.5 out of 10. I can see most of the upper torso, and although it obscures a bit to the left and the right, it's not terrible. So like, 7.5 out of 10, honestly. Ooh, it's this PK style sight, and it's not bad. It's not bad. It's not terrible. Yeah, it obscures a bit more than I would like to the left and right. It's a lot easier to lose your target, but you can see quite a bit of the target itself. So I'm going to give this a solid 5 out of 10, because although you can see quite a lot of the target, it obscures a lot to the left and to the right. But still, overall, it's not terrible. I might use this on 1 or 2 operators. Oh god, I think this might be the first 0 out of 10. These are really bad. These are atrocious. Oh my goodness. So, not only does it obscure a lot to the left and to the right, it also obscures a lot below. Like, oh my god, look at how bad these iron sights are. Like, good luck trying to keep track of your target. Especially considering both operators that have this gun have the ACOG. Oh my god, no. It's not... The only thing that makes it not as bad as it could be is this weapon's pretty decently accurate, and it has a really fast fire rate. But, like, ugh. I don't know, man. What do I even want to give it? A 1 out of 10? It's not worse than... It's not... It's bad, but it's not... It's okay because of how decent the accuracy is. These iron sights, from what I remember, they're actually pretty good. If I remember correctly. Yeah, these iron sights are pretty good. It obscures a decent amount to the left and to the right, but I can see a decent percentage of the target, and it's not that bad. Oh, it does jiggle a lot, though. I didn't realize it jiggled that much on the left and right. But honestly, it's not that hard to keep track of your target. So, like, I don't know. Are they bad? Yeah, I mean, they're pretty good, honestly. They're pretty good. They're not amazing. So, like, 4.5 out of 10. Slightly below average. Because it does obscure a lot, but it's not that hard to keep track of your target, honestly. Maybe I should rate it higher, then. Because it's really not that bad. 5.5 out of 10. Oh, these iron sights are amazing. They are so good. This is probably like a 9 out of 10. Yep, 9 out of 10. Look at how little it obscures. I can very easily see my target. It's so good. These iron sights are amazing. They're the same as the MP7 and the ACS-12 and the SC-3000K. These are really good iron sights. They obscure very little of the left and right. They don't obscure that much of the target. The line in between is small enough that you can see on either side of the target. Although I don't see myself actually using this weapon, these iron sights are incredible. 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. This is really good. Oh god, the AK sights. AK sights are mid, I think. Oof. Yeah, those iron sights obscure a decent amount. But not, like, a lot. Like, I can see to the left and to the right, and it's not that bad. But I can't see a lot below the head. Let's try target acquisition. Yeah, that's pretty rough. That's pretty rough. Yeah, I'm going to give this a 4 out of 10. It obscures a lot, but, like, target acquisition isn't terrible, and it doesn't obscure a lot on the left and right, so 3.5 out of 10. How about that? These are bad. These are bad. The R4C iron sight style is bad. These iron sights are bad. It doesn't obscure as much to the left and to the right, though. Like, target acquisition is actually probably the easiest on the F90. Like actually figuring out where your target is, actually keeping on track of where your target is during shooting. That's quite a bit harder, but honestly, they're not as bad as they could be. This is maybe like a 5.5 out of 10. Nah, 4.5 out of 10. How about that? Because it's a lot harder to keep track of your target, but the weapon's recoil isn't that bad, so yeah. These, I'm pretty sure, are the exact same as the M249. I don't think they're different at all. So, yeah. I mean, it obscures a lot on the left and right. I don't actually remember what I gave it, the M249. But, whatever. I'm just going to give this my own rating, kind of arbitrarily. Because it doesn't obscure that much of the target. I don't remember what I gave the M249, but this is giving me like 5.5 out of 5.5 out of 10 vibes. And if it's inconsistent with the M249, I don't care. Super shorty iron sights, highly recommend them. They're not bad at all. Actually, looking at it again, these are pretty bad. But honestly, it's the super shorty. Are you going to be using this for combat? No. You're probably going to be using it because you're looking at the enemy. Quick scope. Quick scope. That's why you're using it. You're not using it for any other reason. But if I have to judge the iron sights fairly, I mean, look at it. This might be a 0.5 out of 10. But it just doesn't really matter as much because it's the super shorty. It's the Serbu super shorty. It doesn't really matter. But if I'm judging it fairly, 0.5 out of 10, 0.25 out of 10 probably. Look at how much of the head I see. 0.25 out of 10 probably. They're really bad. And I like how I said they're not that bad. It's because I remember them not having really any scope. Honestly, yeah, they're pretty bad, but whatever. Oh yeah, and these are mostly reused weapons. Is there any non-reused weapons in here? Oh yeah, SC3000K, yeah. Oh, and we can use the MP7 as well. Oh, and the FMG9. Because although the FMG9 is reused, I haven't shown that yet in this video. SC3000K sights, just like I mentioned with the MP7 and ACS12 sights, they're really good. I can see myself using them 100%. I can see quite a lot of the target. Not really that confused. Honestly, quite good. 8 out of 10. I don't feel like they're as good as the ARX sights because it obscures a lot more of the target to the left and to the right. But they're still not bad at all. It obscures barely anything out of the left and right. It's very easy to keep track of your target. I wouldn't use this, but honestly, they're not bad. Let's go back for the FMJ. Oh yeah, I guess I'll show the 612 S2, even though it's the same thing. I'll still show it anyways. These iron sights are pretty bad. This might be a 0.5 out of 10 as well. Yeah, these are pretty bad. I can barely even, like, see where I'm shooting. You know what I mean? Like, the green circle covers most of the head. Like, these are really bad. 0.5 out of 10, honestly. Like, I can barely see what I'm looking at, and even what I'm looking at, it's so bad. Target acquisition is also pretty hard. I do not recommend it whatsoever. The ADS time is not worth it. Like, it would have to be like a 50% ADS boost for it to be worth it. 612 literally, or 612 SD literally the same as 612, but I'll show it anyways. Pretty decently good. Yeah, 6 out of 10 maybe. I don't know if they're any different or if they're the same, but 6 out of 10. They're pretty good. Actually, are they really? They're probably better, honestly. 7 out of 10. 6.5 out of 10? 7 out of 10. I don't know if they're the exact same, but they're very similar. 7 out of 10. They're pretty good. I absolutely can see myself using them. Next up is MP7. These are pretty good, just like I mentioned. They're not as good as the Eric sights, but they're pretty good. 8 out of 10, just like the MP7K. They're pretty good. I think the ADS bonus is probably worth it for this weapon for sure. Especially for Bandit on defense. On Zero, no. But for Bandit, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. 8 out of 10. They're quite good. And I think everything else is reused weapon, right? Oh, no, POF9. Yeah, of course. Forgot about this gun. Don't even remember what the iron sights look like. Oh, they're these kind of sights. Oh, they're so big though. Oh god. Out of all of the C8 style sights, this one's probably the worst. Yeah. This is not very good, honestly. This is like a 4 out of 10. It's quite a lot harder to see your target. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty bad. 4 out of 10. Everything else is reused, right? Yes. To double check and make sure there's not any weapons I missed. Like defender weapons on attack that I missed. I don't think so. Yeah, I think that's all of them. If I missed one, boy am I annoyed. Oops, did not mean to choose that. Oh, I missed machine pistols. Sorry, I forgot about the machine pistols. I didn't even think about that. Cali, SPSMG9. I forgot to also show the SMG11, which
Shooting
Amaru
range
has.
closes for cleanup in 1 hour.
SPSMG9, pretty bad. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend using these. They're pretty bad. It's like a 4 out of 10. I can see a decent amount of the target below the target, but the left and the bottom, well, left and right acquisition's actually pretty easy. 5 out of 10, I guess. They're pretty bad, but like, I don't know. They're not awful. Like, I can see myself using them. SMG11. I think these are not terrible. Oh no, they're terrible. Although left and right acquisition isn't terrible. Actually, seeing your target after you start shooting is really difficult. Yeah, these are rough. No, I definitely don't recommend it. 2 out of 10 probably. It obscures a lot of the target, and it's a lot harder to keep track. Yeah, go with the scope. Or a sight, not a scope. I think that's it. So defense, MP5K. If these aren't bad, I might use them. I can't remember. I think they're not awful. Yeah, these are actually pretty good. Left and right acquisition's a bit tough because it obscures a lot, but actually seeing my target's not difficult at all. I can see myself using this 100%, honestly. I might use this for the ADS bonus, because, like, these sights are not bad. Yeah. 8 out of 10? Like, these are pretty good. Nah, they're not 8 out of 10 good. 7 out of 10. 6.9 out of 10. How about that? These are pretty good. I like them a lot. I'm actually going to use them, unironically. They're pretty good. Alright, UMP. M10 I've already done. The UMP on here. Because I might actually use it if they're good. Oh, they're like the G36 sights. They're pretty rough. It's hard to see your target. It's not awful. But this weapon's pretty accurate. I don't know. It's pretty hard to see, but it's not awful. 4 out of 10, how about that? Try it out if you like it, but it probably wouldn't recommend it. SG we already showed. MP5, yeah. Oops. I can't imagine using iron sights on MP5, but that's okay. Ooh, yeah, these are like the HK33 sights, or AR33 as they're called. And they're just as rough. It's quite hard to see. I'll be honest, if they remove the Picatinny rail, which I'm not using anyways, it probably wouldn't even be that bad. But the Picatinny rail makes it a lot harder to see, and it makes it a lot harder to justify using this thing, because it's quite hard to see. Yeah. I don't know, though. I can see a little bit below the target, but it's not, like, awful. 4 out of 10. 4 out of 10. I'm actually going to see, what does the horizontal grip look like on this? Dude, this is cursed. I feel like I move a lot faster though, wow. Okay. Next up, P90, which I could do Solus, but whatever. Let's see, will I use this on Solus? They're not awful, but they're not great. The recoil is quite a bit more than I would like. Target acquisition isn't impossible, don't get me wrong, but like, it's not amazing. Rating, 5 out of 10. It's like middle ground, you know what I mean? It's like middle ground. Depending on your circumstance, I can see using this, because it doesn't obscure a lot on the left and the right, and you can see a decent amount of the target below the target, but I don't know. Something about it. I gotta give it a little bit of a higher rating. Oh, well, I'll tell you what's wrong with it. The post sight, where my target is supposed to be, it covers a lot of what the target is. That's what the problem is. So that's why it's 5 out of 10. If you're really close, it doesn't really matter as much, but if you're far away, no. Capcan, Vityas. Oh, I already have it on. Oh, look at that. Ooh, these iron sights are... It doesn't obscure anything on the top, and left and right acquisition's not hard, but how hard is it to see the target? Quite difficult. I can't really see much of the target at all. Most of the target is obscured behind my sight. Is target acquisition difficult? Honestly, not really, because this weapon's pretty accurate. It doesn't have a lot of recoil, at least on controller, which is what I'm using now. But like, I don't know. It doesn't bump around a lot either, but the sights themselves, yikes. Considering how little it obscures on the left and right, and how accurate the weapon is, I'm probably going to give it a solid 4 out of 10. Like, I can see myself using this in certain circumstances, but honestly, I would probably steer clear of it. If you're like really close up, I probably would recommend it though, because it's not god awful. DP27. These are really bad. These are awful. This might be another 0.5 out of 10. Oh, actually, it's not as bad as I thought, honestly. It's not as bad as I thought. Yeah, actually, you know what? This isn't as bad as I thought. It's quite a lot. You obscure a lot on the left and right. Like, seriously, though. Like, look at how far away I'm aiming, and most of the body's obscured. But, like, whatever. In terms of actually seeing the target, though, it's not as bad as I thought, honestly. 3 out of 10, I guess. It obscures a lot, but like, if you have your eyes on your target, it's not that difficult to keep track of them. Actually, 4 out of 10, because it's really not that bad to keep track of your target once you actually know where they are. M870, yeah. Oh, and 416. Dude, I'm messing up all of my stuff. Ugh. M870 sights, pretty good. Pretty good. I don't know what I gave them for the other weapons, but these are just as good as the 612. I like them. I'm probably going to use them, honestly. They're quite good. 8 out of 10. No, 7 out of 10. They're not that crazy good. But I absolutely can see myself using them. 8 out of 10. 7 out of 10. Sorry. Keep saying the wrong thing. Alright. 416. Oof. These are not great. They're not as bad as the AR-33, though. Are they? I don't know. It's hard to see my target below my target. What's the recoil like? Ooh, yeah, considering the recoil... Granted, I don't have the vertical grip on, but still. Yeah, these iron sights are, like, not amazing, considering the recoil. So, like... Ugh, probably like a... I mean, I can see a decent bit of the upper portion of the torso, but it obscures a lot on the left and right. A decent amount, at least. 4 out of 10. I remember these being good in my mind for some reason. I don't know why. They're not great. Remember, this weapon's really accurate. I don't know. I like them. I'm gonna be honest. I like these sights. But objectively speaking, they're really not that good. But I like them. So, like, It obscures quite a bit of the target's upper torso. But remember, the weapon's really accurate, so target acquisition's not amazingly difficult. I don't know. I think, to be fair, even though I like him, I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 10. Because it obscures quite a bit, but I can see between the cracks, and it's not that difficult to maintain your shot because the weapon's just that accurate. So yeah, 4 out of 10. I remember these being good. I'm actually probably going to use these. Oh, they're not as good as I remembered, honestly. Ooh, I didn't realize the laser sight actually affects your iron sights. So with laser sight, these are not as good as I thought. Quite a bit of the target is obscured, but not like a whole bunch. The left and right is pretty clear. It's not that difficult to see your target. Honestly, I probably would give this like a... With the iron sights, I'd probably give it like a 4 out of 10. Or with the laser sight, sorry. Now removing the laser sight. Now this is what I remembered. Yeah, this is quite good, actually. I can see a lot of the target. It is obscured a bit by the post, but like, I can see quite a bit of the target. Without iron sights, oh yeah. It's actually quite easy to keep track of the target. Yeah, without the laser sight, 7.5 out of 10. They're honestly pretty good. This is what I remembered. I didn't realize the laser sight affected it as much as it did. That's crazy. What's next? MPX? MPX. This is like the C8 style, I'm pretty sure. Yep, I'm correct. And just like the C8 style, they're not half bad. It's not that hard to keep track of the target at all, honestly. Yeah, honestly, it's not that hard to keep track of the target. Interesting. I might actually use this, honestly. It does obscure a bit to the left and to the right. I'm not going to ignore that. It can be a lot harder to keep track of your target, but you can see most of the upper torso. I can even see his gun. Like this, I actually see quite a bit. So if I'm actually looking at my target, this isn't half bad at all. This is probably like a 7 out of 10. This is actually quite good. M12, these are pretty bad from what I remember. They're not great. Let's see. Oh, actually, these are not that bad at all. It obscures quite a bit to the left and to the right, but not enough, for the most part, not enough to the point where I feel like I would miss a target if I'm, like, aimed in. Unless if they're below me. Like, if I'm aiming too high, obviously. But if I'm aiming at head height, I have a decently low likelihood of actually missing the target. And if I do, it's probably not that much more than if I had a sight on it. Because even the sights have varying levels of obscurity. But actually seeing my target's not that difficult at all. Like, this is actually really good of a sight. Like, I'm probably going to end up using this. This is actually a really good sight. I'm sorry, I misremembered how good you were. This is like an 8 out of 10. This is a really solid sight. Especially with how accurate the weapon is. Like, it's not that hard to keep track of your target at all. 8 out of 10. Spaz 15. I remember the front sights are like, or the rear sights are like real close up. This is not terrible. A lot of the left and right isn't obscured at all. And what is obscured, it's not too terribly difficult to keep track of your target. Although you don't see a whole bunch. I don't know. If I'm judging it objectively, you are obscured quite a bit. But honestly, it's not as big of a deal. So if I'm gonna be fair though, judging it objectively, the iron sights, they're pretty bad. They obscure a lot, like when you're actually looking at the target. But they obscure like near nothing on the left and to the right. So like a 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10. Perfect middle ground because it's like a 10 out of 10 on the left and right, but it's like a 2 out of 10 actually looking at the target. So like middle ground, 5 out of 10. MP5 SD. I can't imagine it being that much different than the MP5. Oh, this is way better than the MP5. Oh my god, this is so good. These iron sights are really good. What? Sleeper MP5 iron sights? These are really good. Oh my god, I did not remember them being this good. This is like the G8 iron sights, basically. Wow. Because that Picatinny rail isn't in the way, these are actually really good. This is like a 8 out of 10. It's really easy to keep track of your target. Wow. These are really good. Oh my god, I don't remember them being that good, but these are I'm using them. I am using them, for sure. Oh my god. I forgot that they were that good. That's crazy. 8 out of 10. Ooh, these iron sights, again, doesn't obscure a lot on the left and right. I can very easily see left and right. It's kind of hard to obscure anything. In terms of actually looking at my target, obviously I can only see up until the upper torso, but it's not terrible. The line in the middle representing where I'm supposed to shoot is a bit thick, but it's not terrible. These are not bad. These are not bad iron sights. I can see myself using them. 6 out of 10. Honestly, not bad. This gun has a lot more recoil, which is why I'm rating it a little bit lower. Or at least I think it's lower. Because this gun has a lot more recoil, so it matters a lot more if you're able to actually reposition your shot. But yeah, they're not bad. To the T5. Oh god, these are really bad from what I remember. Let's see if my memory is bad though. Actually, you know, they're not as bad as I remember. Left and right acquisition, it's not terrible. There's a bit of wiggle room where it's hard to see, but it's not terrible. Although it's a lot easier to lose track of your target, like with the big bold right here. Like, look at this, right? Completely gone. In terms of actually keeping track of my target, I can see most of the upper torso. And with how accurate this weapon is, because it's actually decently accurate. With how accurate this weapon is, and how little of the body is obscured, you know, this actually isn't as bad as I remembered. I'm really glad I'm actually doing this test, because I genuinely don't remember these iron sights, and I'm sure that most people watching don't either. So, like, T5 iron sights, 6 out of 10? These are pretty good, honestly. I might use them. FO12 iron sights, oh my god. Scorpion Evo 3A1 iron sights. It obscures a bit to the left and to the right, but it's not terrible. In terms of actually seeing my target, it's quite a bit hard to see my target. Most of the body's obscured. I can see a little bit of the upper torso. I can see the shoulders, basically. But the sight post is quite small, so I can actually aim at the head, and I can see where I'm aiming. With how inaccurate this weapon is, it makes it a lot more of a problem, though. So, it's hard to recommend this weapon with iron sights, honestly. This is like a 4 out of 10. Yeah, 3 out of 10. I can see a bit of the upper torso, as I mentioned. And it's not terribly difficult to keep track of your sight, but it's... With how inaccurate this weapon is, you need all the help you can get, so don't use iron sights. 3 out of 10, if you didn't hear me. This is, oh, these iron sights are R4C style. And just like R4C style, they're pretty bad. I can really only see the head and maybe like a tiny bit of the collarbone. In terms of obscuring left and right, it's not actually that bad, honestly. It's probably like equivalent, although up and down and left and right, like, yeah, it's actually pretty bad. I take it back. Target acquisition. Again, considering it's a shotgun, you're probably going to just quickscope anyways. But it's a lot easier to lose track of your target because of how much this weapon sticks. Granted, I don't have vertical grip, but still. I don't recommend it though. 4 out of 10. Just stick with the sight. K1A, I remember these iron sights being good. I remember them being good. They're not amazing. I can only see up until like the shoulders, but the weapon's pretty accurate, and it's the left and right isn't obscured that much at all. Like I could actually see on the left and right pretty decently easy. And yeah, honestly, these aren't half bad. They're not amazing though. I thought they were better in my head. They felt like they were better in my head. But yeah, they're not terrible. I'd give this a solid 6 out of 10. It obscures a decent amount, but target acquisition isn't terrible and the recoil isn't awful, so like, I can see myself using it. 6 out of 10. 666. Look at that. 666 damage. Alda sights. Oh my god, the Alda. Okay. Well, judging it objectively, I can see barely anything. Like, actually looking at the target, I can see just parts of the head. I can't even see the whole head. So already we're off to a rousing start. But left and right, 10 out of 10, dude. Like, it obscures almost nothing left and right wise. Like, it's very, very clear. But obviously keeping track of your target's going to be incredibly difficult because it obscures a lot. I'm hard pressed to recommend iron sights on this one because it obscures quite a lot of your sight picture. Yeah, this is really bad. This might be a 1 out of 10 here. It can't be that unfair because again, left and right, it's actually very easy to see your target. But like actually trying to hit your target and keep track of your target. Ooh. 1.5 out of 10. Nah, 2 out of 10. Again, left and right wise, really good. But anything else, boy does it drop the ball. Oh, you can put a horizontal grip on this? Motherfucker. I didn't know that. I gotta put that in my video then. Oh, but that's horizontal grip, not angled grip. I'm stupid. My video was about the angled grip, haha. Dumbass bitch. Honestly, horizontal grip might be wise. MX4 Storm, I am very familiar with these iron sights because I actually use them, and they are not incredibly atrocious. Left and right wise, very, very good. Actually seeing your target, a bit difficult. I can really only see parts of the upper torso. Even less so if I'm actually aiming at the head. I can really only just see like head and the shoulder, but redirecting your shots isn't amazingly difficult. But it's definitely a downgrade using iron sights. But if you're like really close, it doesn't matter as much. But yeah, these iron sights are not amazing. Left and right wise, they're pretty good. I'd say it balances out to a 4 out of 10. Because left and right wise, it obscures almost nothing. But it is a bit more difficult to see your actual target. AUG. Oh, and the TCSG.
Cybersecurity guidelines can be found on your personal terminal.
AUG iron sights. These are quite good. These are actually quite good, honestly. Especially this weapon being not terribly inaccurate. Yeah, these aren't half bad. It obscures a bit more than I would like to the left and right. Like, it's a little bit harder to keep track of your target. Like, look at this, right? I'm aiming. It obscures a lot of the target, but, like, it's not terrible. And in terms of actually seeing my target and keeping track of where my target is, I can very easily see where my target is. You know what I mean? Like, I'll almost see, like if I aim at the head, I can see most of the chest and even, like, where the shoulders are, where the elbows are. So, like, it's honestly quite easy to keep track of your target. I might use this, honestly. It's not bad. 6.5 out of 10. Ooh. This is rough. This is pretty rough. It obscures a decent amount to the left and to the right, and it definitely obscures the entire body. So, like, it's hard to recommend the iron sights on this one, especially considering you get ACOG on it. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend iron sights. I might stick instead to the ACOG, or if you want a one-time scope, but the iron sights are not worth it. This is like a 2 out of 10. It's quite difficult to see your target, especially considering how severe the recoil is. And I think last but not least, oh no, we have the UZK. Last but not least, we have Mozzie, and then the other character. These iron sights are pretty good. Wow, these iron sights are really good, actually. 7 out of 10. Like, I can see most of the upper torso, a decent chunk of the head. Like, these are not bad at all, honestly. These are quite good. I might use this for a Rooney. Not for Mozzie, because he has the A5, at least for now. But, for a Rooney, yeah, these are not bad. 7.5 out of 10. They're not bad at all. Again, it obscures a bit more than I would... Actually, probably even higher than that. 8.8? 8 out of 10? 8 out of 10. Of course, it obscures a bit more than I would like on the left and right. But it's not that bad at all, honestly. These are really good sights. Wow. 8.5 out of 10, maybe? 8.5 out of 10. They're really good. Nah, they're not that good, though. 8 out of 10. Just 8 out of 10. They're quite good, though. I can recommend them. Commando iron sights, these are like Colt style. And just like all the Colt style sights, they're pretty rough. Yeah, I can see like parts of the shoulder, parts of the upper, like collarbone, and I can't really even see most of the head. And left and right wise, yeah, it obscures quite a bit. These iron sights are rough around the edges. It's hard to recommend the iron sights in this one. It obscures quite a lot. Rating, 3 out of 10. 2.5 out of 10. Like, these are rough. I don't think there's anything new here. I don't think. Oops. And then the UZK. I'm pretty sure every other weapon I've used, right? Did I use the ACS-12? I don't think I did. I don't think I did. What a fool I am. I will show the ACS-12 with Azami. UZK iron sights, decent actually, pretty decent. They obscure quite more than a target than I would like, but I can see the shoulders, and left and right wise, like target acquisition's not terrible at all. And the recoil of the weapon isn't like amazingly awful either. So like, I mean, it's not great, but it's not amazingly awful. If you're close range, yeah, this is usable. But if I were to judge it objectively, 5 out of 10. Nah. Well, again, you can see left and right wise, it doesn't obscure that much, honestly. And, like, actually reacquiring your target isn't terribly difficult. 5 out of 10, maybe? 4.5 out of 10. How about that? Because, again, it obscures quite a bit of the actual head. And last but not least, the ACS-12, because I forgot to do that for... I think I forgot to do it. If I didn't forget, then, well, shout out to me. No, I definitely forgot. Yeah, these are good. These are really good iron sights. It obscures, like, almost nothing on the left and right. It does obscure more of the actual person than I would like. But it's not incredibly difficult to keep track of the target. But it obscures almost nothing on the left and right. It's not as good as the MP7, though. So I'd probably give this, like, a solid 6.5 out of 10. Because I can't really see much of the actual person, which is, like, a real problem. But considering how little it obscures left and right, it's hard to hate it. Like, target acquisition is, like, really not that bad at all. Yeah, this is quite good. These iron sights are quite good. 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. 7.5 out of 10. Okay. And that is it. That is every single weapon with every single iron sight. How long was that recording? Too long. I hope you guys enjoyed, though, and I hope you guys are now able to make a more informed decision of whether or not you want to use the iron sights, based off of what they actually are. There's a lot of iron sights. Hope you guys enjoyed. Take care, peace, and bye-bye. Alright, how long was that recording? Oops. That was 1 hour and 9 minutes? Ugh.